Warning: Title 17 U.S. Code 512F provides penalties for the deliberate misrepresentation of copyright infringement. The owners and authors of this video, the Common Denominator, and the Paramistic Broadcast Channel are a nonprofit 501c3 exempt organization and believes in good faith that it constitutes educational fair use, as per Title 17 U.S.C. 107. Persons, agencies, attorneys, and or social media algorithms filing a false or frivolous Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint may be subject to civil liability. Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised.
How's everybody doing tonight? It's Tuesday.
Hello, my buttercups.
Hey, Dom. Hey, Scissors. If you're already in here, let me see.
Hey, Investigation 13. To see you. Welcome us.
He's one of my Canadian friends. So.
Hey, Derek.
Derek. Yep, there's another Canadian there. We'll get all the Canadians in here.
Stone in the Darkness. We got a bunch of new folks in here tonight. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Stoney's one of them I was saying I'd bring on the panel, but we might have to get her to be quiet sometimes because she likes to talk. So I love you,
Come
Stoney.
on and join me, Miss Stoney. We'll chat
if we get enough people, we're going to try to do a panel after the show. But we wanted to start off just to get everybody's views. We're going to try to do a giveaway tonight. You can either get a Trump flag or you can get a
frog leg
necklace. And they're homemade, by the way. So by our local herpetologist. Isn't that what you call the frog expert, is a herpetologist? Not a herpetologist.
He's a frog man.
Frog man. There you go. That's even better. Let's just say frog man. So I was just going to start off with this video. This is from Gays Against Groomers. And if you're against all this crap with the detransition or the transitioning too early, hey Maria.
Hey Maria.
Then you'd probably actually like to follow them. Most of their videos get taken down thanks to good old Facebook and YouTube algorithms and such.
Yeah, we just love Meta.
Oh yeah, gotta love Meta and YouTube. So I'll jump to this one right away. It's only a minute long. So
there is no pride in indoctrinating children in schools.
There is no pride in stripping parents of their right to protect their children.
There is no pride in sexualizing children at drag shows.
There is no pride in mutilating and sterilizing children in the name of gender-affirming care.
Yeah.
This June, what are you proud of? Because we have some issues that we need to talk about.
We're fighting back from inside the community. Join Gays Against Groomers in the battle against radical gender ideology that is destroying our youth.
And in
So
case
in
you're
a way,
wondering,
that's kind
tonight's
of the gay
topic,
community.
we're going to be talking about the way our system is transitioning our children without our knowledge as parents and grandparents. And we're going to have a video toward the end of a young man who is over in the UK who is trying his best to detransition. And he talks about all the bad stuff that's happened. And he's very
Exactly.
forthcoming about his experience.
And yeah, I've got a few of them tonight that are like that. Hey,
Yep.
Miss Cheesecake. Hey, Maria. Holy
My
cow,
goodness,
girl
we got a
Carmen
budget.
Hines calls me a rebel now because I'm from the South and I said something about Yankees. So, you know, and we're already getting opinions in here. You know, I don't believe they should be able to let elementary school child or middle or high school schooler make that decision. I don't think they should
And they
allow
shouldn't.
them or their parents to make that decision. And
These are decisions they need to be making as an adults, not children.
exactly. So I don't believe they should. This isn't something that you can make while even during your puberty. And if you take puberty, I've heard so many bad stories about taking puberty blockers, such as, well, I mean,
Yeah,
even take.
it's bad for children. It's bad for children.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how anybody could agree with that or protect that. I know Florida passed a bill blocking a lot of that, and people were like, you had all kinds of people saying, we're leaving Florida now because of this. We're leaving Florida now because of this. And it was,
Well, I mean,
can you think
California,
that,
California will, take your child away from you if you don't
you're gonna
support
say-
them to do that.
you're going to set a few of our viewers off saying that because, like I said, a couple of them are from Canada. So you can only imagine, you can tell the same thing's been happening there that happens in stuff like that.
Thank you, Miss
And
Cheesecake. It's all over the news there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Cheesecake doesn't live in California, but she's still getting it all over the news all there. But it's totally crazy. And now it's not even just now, these people are getting old enough to where when a lot of this stuff started in California and started spreading other places, that now they're getting old enough to where they're not teenagers or even younger anymore. So now they're realizing what a mistake it was.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Rain. Nice
Hey,
of you to
Rain.
join us.
yeah, I didn't want to say that. Tell where you were, Stony, and she's like, I'm in Cali, and here Child Protective Services will take away your kid for abuse if you do not allow them to take hormones. Exactly.
Thank you. First land witness there.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. And here's a video of a mom that is from TFP Student Action. I found a couple from them. I hope they don't get mad about us playing their videos on here or anything.
Well, this is for
but,
educational uses. Everybody needs to see
yes,
this.
is all
And
for
if
educational
we
purposes.
archive them within our videos, then they're there.
Right. So we're just trying to promote what you're saying. So I'm just saying. So this is just a short one from a school board meeting that might go along with some of what we were already saying.
Hamilton, followed by John Amanchukwu. Hello.
I like this
I'm
lady.
Me
On
too.
behalf of our younger children and their academics. This book, It Feels Good to Be Yourself, which has an oxymoronic title based on its content, can be found in 26 elementary schools. It is geared towards K2, and as Macmillan Publisher says, it basically is geared toward ages 4 through 8. It introduces
So when she said K2, she meant kindergarten through second grade. just so everybody knows. So
There's
Yeah.
four different characters with different gender identities. It makes it seem as if gender is an imaginary concept that can be changed on a whim, when the truth is gender is factual. You're either a boy or a girl. And gender identity, what you see yourself as, that's imaginary. Well, let me read you a couple of things. First character is Ruthie. She's a transgender girl. That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy until she grew a little older, old enough to tell everyone that she's actually a girl. Then there's her brother, Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. Which 4 through 8-year-old knows what cisgender means? Can they spell cisgender? That means
Yeah, I was still trying to
when
figure that shit out.
he was born, everyone thought he was a boy. And as he grew older, it turned out everyone was right. He was a boy. Then there's Alex, the friend. Alex is both a boy and a girl. Then there's JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl. Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or girl. They just felt like themselves. This is JJ's gender identity. Some kids feel like girls. Some kids feel like boys. Some kids feel like a little bit of both. Part boy, part girl. Reminds me of that old commercial. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Is that okay? Some kids don't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. They feel like neither. Some kids feel that their gender identity isn't always the same. It's often changing. So now are we endorsing schizophrenia? What are we doing? Whether you feel like a boy or a girl or neither, if you describe yourself another way, that is your gender identity. When does this foolishness stop? When you shroud lunacy, insanity, or fallacy in colorful words and pictures to be read to young children, you have created an unsafe environment, since we're talking about safe environment, right? Where does it stop? At this tender age, our children should be learning their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Who authorized this? Who told you that you are God? Who gave you permission to tell our children who they are and who they're supposed to be? This is intentional and evil at its core. Get back to what you were elected to do and formally educate our children, not indoctrinate them with left-wing ideologies under the guise of providing a safe and welcoming space. Hear us clearly. We will not surrender our children. Leave our children alone.
Amen, sister. Amen. Hell yeah.
exactly. Cheesecake says she identifies as an alien. I'm proud to say she's from Jupiter.
Beam me up,
Well, I guess
Scotty.
I guess it's being from Uranus. I just got a
Hey.
smile out of Sally for that. So
Hey, there's one of those in Missouri. Thank you.
where'd Sally go?
All righty then.
I don't know. I guess we got in trouble for that or something.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, exactly, Stony. I mean, I believe in that. So there is such
Apparently
a
they
thing.
don't like the truth.
There is such a thing, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, what the hell is a cisgen? I'm still trying to figure that shit out. I get called that every now and then, and I don't know whether to be offensive or pissed off.
Oh,
Well, Miss Maria Hellcat, you know exactly where Uranus is.
Hey, bad intro. I hadn't seen you in a while. I'm sorry.
Hey, bad intro. Hey, Don.
He might like this too. So yeah, she said right. I told you I had a lot of friends from Misery, Maria. Sally's
It's
one of
okay.
them. So
I used to live there. I know exactly where it's at.
yep.
So what do we got up next? How
oh my
about the woman who's laying into the doctor's comments? I like her
which one was
style.
that one?
Little
Was
gray
that the
haired
long
lady.
one?
No, it wasn't the
Oh
long
yeah,
one.
little gray haired lady. Sorry, no, it wasn't a long one. I told you I had a lot of friends in Missouri.
yeah,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
been
So this is
bouncing around ideas for videos for this show for a while.
exactly. So this is actually in front of a hearing. I forget which court, which U.S. House Committee hearing. So this would be a big one. Excuse me. So here's what she has to say. I believe this is the one that Sally's talking about here.
Yep. Yep. If you help by liking and sharing it and following us, we'd appreciate it. Give us a big
Very
thumbs
much
up,
so.
show us a little heart.
Mayor's testimony.
Yeah,
I used to live there. I know exactly where it's at. God.
problems.
I'm
All right.
sorry, Stoning.
Here we go. Oh, here we go. Sorry. So I'm going to cut
Did we lose
out
it
his
again?
intro and everything. No, I got it here. So here we go.
There he is. I love this little fella.
I recently made a little video on this topic, not really explaining much of it, and got quite a bit of backlash in my comment section, so I just want to come on and share my story. And some of you guys, you're gonna hate me for this, but I need to speak the truth. And I don't care what you say in my comments, I'm not gonna turn my comments off. Growing up, I didn't really show any signs of gender dysphoria. I was perfectly happy with my body and being a girl, and of course I was uncomfortable with like puberty and stuff, but that was for other reasons. Every girl is uncomfortable with their changing body. And when I was 13, I started to struggle a lot with depression, anxiety, that sort of stuff. I spent a lot of time on the internet, specifically TikTok, way more than I should have, rather than going out in the real world, especially with COVID and everything else that was going on. Now, at the time, there were a million videos of all these trans people coming out. And because I was so unhappy with myself and who I was, I thought that that might be what was wrong with me. And I convinced myself that that's what was wrong with me and that's what would fix me. And I went really far to pass as a male, to the point where nobody that I knew that I was born a female. Here's a little picture of me from that time, had the facial hair and everything. When I first transitioned, I really didn't have any issues with my body, but as I went on, I realized that I needed to fit into this box if I wanted to be a male. And because of how my body did not fit into that box, I became increasingly more uncomfortable with it.
This happens so much, especially when you're a teenager. You're trying to find your tribe. You're trying to find your community. And far too often we realize that our personalities and who we are as people and as a person, we're unique. We don't fit in boxes all the time. Like when I came out the closet and I realized I was gay, I flew out that closet. I'm talking rainbows, mannerisms, super feminine, drag show, like all of it. I jumped right into the gay culture because I felt like that's what I had to be because I was gay, instead of going back and focusing on, oh, I'm a mirror first. I am me and I'm an individual, and that's what matters most. And that's what you all should be doing too, not sitting here doom scrolling on another app, convincing yourself that you belong in this community when in reality you're just figuring out your identity because you're going through a rough time, which is teenage years. I mean, shit, I think back to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm drastically different than what I was back then. Completely different people, because I'm at that age where I'm exploring my identity. I'm figuring out who I am, and that's okay, and that should be accepted for kids, but let's leave it at that. I have no problem with teenagers exploring how they're dressing. I have no problems with teenagers, being tomboys, tomgirls. That's not the issue. The issue is when we're doing irreversible damage to these teenagers.
I was really wanting to listen to more of her story, so
when you're
let's
giving
see.
them and that's okay. But I don't think the introduction to life-altering medicines is the answer.
Gender dysphoria. It was me trying to fit myself into a box that I simply didn't fit into. In a way, I sort of brainwashed myself into thinking that I had gender dysphoria. And naturally, this brought me into a really bad place mentally where I started struggling with drugs, self-harm, suicidal ideation, all that stuff. And I assumed this was because I wasn't male enough, but it was really because I wasn't a male at all. I got on testosterone when I was 15 years old. And the thing that I think is absolutely wild is that I went to one appointment before I was given my prescription. One. And you might be thinking, oh, well, they probably asked you a ton of questions. No, they barely asked me anything. I basically walked in there and was like, I'm trans. And they were like, okay.
And more trans people are saying this. I'm tired of this myth and this debate that, oh, it's not happening at a large scale. Oh, you have to go through 2 years of therapy and this and that. No.
I was on testosterone for about 6 months, and luckily it didn't affect me super bad. I can still talk in a higher range and pass as female. Of course, there's a lot of changes that are permanent that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. After about 2 years living as a male, I realized I was wrong. But I didn't come out about that right away. I stayed living as male for another year before I really finally decided that I needed to do this.
And what kills me is that no shade, no ill will, but you can tell that like it's something's happened. You know, you can tell it's not 100% female. You can tell that there were some things that were changed in the voice and how they look. That's never going to change. As much as they're going to try, there's things that you can do, of course, but you can't go back from it. And that's the core of the issue is you can't go back. If you want to do it as an adult, that is fine. But damn, these kids shouldn't be making decisions like this. This shouldn't be a thing. And that's not hateful. There's no ill will. It's not being rude. It's literally just paying attention to and highlighting these people who are detransitioning and have gone through these exact things.
And it was one of the most scary things that I ever did. I faced so much backlash. I found it that people are so quick to accept trans people, but so quick to criticize detransitioners. Once I detransitioned, all my mental problems were gone. I'm happy. That was my issue. The fact that I'd convinced myself that I was a dude.
And that's the sad part too, is that you have all these people that are detransitioning and then they're exiled from the community just for highlighting something that they are going through. Because they feel like, oh, you detransitioned, you don't like trans people, you detransition, that means you're gonna make us all look bad. It's like, yo, they detransition because it's a real thing that's being pushed on children. It's a real thing that people are being misled with. And they're highlighting their story. And I'm glad they're highlighting their story because it's not all peaches and cream. It's a lifetime worth of doctor visits that you're subscribing to, surgeries, things that can go wrong. Y'all, like we've got to stop.
My name is Max. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a trans.
Hey, Max. My name is Austin. I am that 40-year-old detransitioner that you say you'll never be. And I want to say that I also thought when I was your age that I would never, ever detransition either, that I 100% knew who I was then, there, and I would always be unfalteringly unchangeable. You know, I really believed that. I transitioned really young too, but obviously in a much different time. In a much different socioeconomic bracket than what I kind of perceive you to have grown up in. And that's no shade, that's just the real tea. But I think it's really dangerous for you to come on TikTok and say that people shouldn't listen to the detrans movement just because you may or may not disagree with some of our politics or may not ever see yourself detransitioning. I saw you kind of backpedal a little in your response stitch to Lucy, and it just has me a little bit confused because truthfully, if gender is a spectrum, why do we have to try to change anything? Why can't you just be you?
That is such a good point. If
Hey,
gender
Joe.
is a
Hey,
spectrum,
Joe.
you keep
Hey,
telling
Debbie.
me that men can be women and women can be men.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Debbie. Hey, bad intro again. Yeah, I don't know what's with that. I've said something about that before, but I know a lot of people wear them nose rings and stuff. But tonight, our show, Bad Intro, is mostly about the T's going back.
The
So that
DTs.
they're the DTs. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah.
And the bad thing is, you
So-
know, our social
Why
media
is a
has
big trend.
our social media has a huge influence on our teenagers.
Very
Huge
much so.
influence.
And you see now that lady, she's 40 years old and detransitioned, you know, so a lot of that stuff wasn't around that they have access to now. And then you have some guy with pink hair or girl, I don't know which one it was, that she actually was responding to.
He,
a
she,
TikTok
them.
to. Yeah, a them. There you go. So, you know, that says a lot right there. So, like I said, this video just has a bunch of people in it that, you know, he just wanted to kind of show
trans, pushing so hard to make sure that children are medicalized. Like, you have no idea what 20 plus years of HRT will do to your
So
bladder,
hormone replacement therapy. So, and she's talking.
your endocrine system,
Yeah.
or your urethra. I do. It's not what you think. It has irreversible side effects and damages. Puberty blockers are not reversible. They're absolutely not reversible. I know that's the big narrative that they are, but everyone I've ever talked to that's on it, your puberty never comes back correctly. You're always stunted. It's not like we're some, you know, cabal of detrans people that want to hurt trans people. No, I still feel like I will always be a trans person. So no one is going to take that right from me to speak of that, you know, to speak to my truth and just share like what 20 plus years of trans identity can do to a person. You know, it's not all perfect. It's not all easy peasy. Life gets harder and harder and harder. Now, I think that when you're female to male, maybe your experience will be different from a male to female. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I come from a time when there was so much more internalized and externalized homophobia out in the world, but that's not the case anymore. America has accepted gay people and lesbian people and trans people, and right-wing people don't want to, you know, kill you or cause a genocide. Like, that's absolutely not true. What we want is to make sure that children are old enough to make informed consent. And you can't do informed consent if you are unable to be informed about lifetime effects. So God love you and God bless.
Amazing. Because it's so true, and it's such a good point in that it's a lifetime of side effects. It's a lifetime of drug prescriptions. It's a lifetime commitment.
And I agree with him on all of that, you know, and both of them, you know, it's a lifetime of all this. You're not just, and plus you're blocking your puberty. I mean, you got to think that's not just blocking your male development and making it to where you're female instead, or blocking your female development to where you stay male or something. It makes you stay a kid. I mean,
You're blocking your mental development.
Yeah.
It's blocking their mental development and their physical development. I mean, it's like our government is trying to use our children as some weird, bad science experiment to see if they can actually make it work.
I mean, that's what it seems like it's come down to now, or maybe they're just trying to eliminate, you know, they talk about, you know, one nation or whatever we're calling it, the New World Order and stuff like that. Maybe they're just trying to make it, yeah, World Health Organization. Yeah, we've seen how good they do stuff. Maybe it should be What Health Organization instead of World Health Organization. So,
yeah, I mean, and there are more and more people coming out and giving their testimonies about their detransition.
Yeah, and now that it's, and part of it is people like this, or people like them in a way, people like this. Oh yeah.
Very true. Indoctrination. That's all it is.
Bad intro.
And you know what?
World hell opener. And Stoney's like
I could go with that.
I could go with both of them. So I agree with both of them. So, yeah, I mean, you're stopping puberty, but I mean,
you are permanently taking out an entire generation or two.
Yeah. I mean,
you're destroying their chances of ever being parents, of ever having children.
Yeah.
Because once you transition one way or the other, you can hang up having a family.
But even these, I mean, that happens in a lot of cases to where, like, whenever you're 20, you're like, I don't want to have no kids. And then by the time you're 40, you're like, damn, I wish I would have had kids. Or damn, even, you know, I see stuff today.
What did I miss out? You miss out on having those little ones around. Having the next generation around.
And Stoney's saying population control. Well, if you talk to any of these people that support that big time, just like the whole CVID vaccines and everything else, they all say we're overpopulated. And I don't know how they could say the U.S. is overpopulated when you look at places like China and India. You know,
Well, they did. Well, this is a whole different topic, and we're not going to go down this rabbit hole. But you know what? Several million immigrants coming across our border a year is destabilizing our country.
I agree with that too. So
what are they bringing them in here for? Body parts?
Well, that's possible too. So, so here's his next person on here. I think this is the girl.
That's Chloe.
Yeah,
I know her.
Chloe.
I've seen her testimony in front of Congress.
I think I've got a video.
She transitioned. She transitioned into a boy and now is retransitioning into a female. But here's her story.
Yeah, and bad intro. I definitely agree with you on that. That powers that be or been on this hell been on. You didn't say hell, but I know what you're saying. On destroying and forming it under their own image. The Antichrist is coming. And Julie has a page on Facebook called Under the Bus if you want to get more into this too.
Already part of that group.
I am too. And Dion says that the USA is modernizing biblical Babylon. So yeah, it seems like some of our viewers are in agreement here. But
I can't wait till we get the panel going.
Oh crap.
I've
How did I
had some
mute
complications
this?
pop up this year.
Below in the description.
I'll never have my breast back. A reconstruction will do nothing for me, and it might make things worse actually because I've had some complications pop up this year with the grafts. I have to cover them up with bandages, or else they'll. I don't know what's going on with them. I tried to consult my surgeon about it, and she didn't really investigate. He gave me advice that made the complications worse even, and actually temporarily gave me an infection. But I have to bandage up every day so that it doesn't like leak all over my clothing or bedding. And
Jesus,
from the hormones and blockers, I've been experiencing some joint pains, mainly in my arms, my legs, and my back. And
me too, Stoney.
I still have issues with my urinary tract. I have to use the restroom pretty frequently, and I didn't even know that this was possible. This is like a pretty huge quality of life issue that I'm experiencing, and I'm just not really getting any help for it. And on top of that, I do hate to speak about it, but
give me a few minutes, Maria. We're gonna do our hour here, and then we'll come up with a panel. So if you want to come up on a panel, give me about 20 or 30 more minutes, and then we'll finish the show, and then we'll have a panel talking about it.
I'm experiencing sexual dysfunction at the age of 18. That's something that women usually go through when they're in their 40s to 50s.
Right.
My heart goes out to
How
this
was I
young
supposed to know?
Me too.
They robbed her of her life. Absolutely robbed her of it.
I'll fast forward through Amir. But if you want to, Amir talks through the whole thing. Yeah, he is now. This one is crazy. This is actually most of them that I've seen.
Child
is women.
Julie Hitler actually did
transitioning
that
back into a woman. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So this one is from Florida. Whenever Florida was putting in the Don't Say Gay bill, which had nothing to do with not saying gay. It had to do with not putting books like that one lady was talking about in K through third grade. But this is what she has to say.
to go through.
Hi, my name is Shape. I started identifying as transgender at 22 while still in college. Before that, I was just a feminine gay man. Being asked about my pronouns led me to research transgender ideology, and pretty quickly I got convinced that I was transgender woman. I was able to get hormones relatively easily through Fenway Health and was only on them.
And just to be clear, again, this person is a consenting adult that's talking about this. So in this situation, it's on Shay to make that decision and transition. But I think she's going to talk about how she wanted to detransition and why, even at her age, it's still confusing. So she only imagine how confusing it is for children. But they want to make that note.
For a year before receiving facial feminization and breast augmentation surgeries at 23. Taking hormones actually worsened my mental health, but therapists saw that it was because I was stuck in the wrong body. They cleared me for sex reassignment surgery by diagnosing me with gender identity disorder. Immediately after SRS, I was super excited to start a new life. I was happy for a few months while recovering. However, soon I realized that my new part wasn't what doctors promised me. My new vagina started constricting despite rigorous dilation, which resulted in me developing vaginal stenosis. This left me unable to have penetrative sex, which adversely impacted my mental health. I also lost my sex drive, my motivation to achieve anything, and became brain fogged and lethargic. I had multiple unsuccessful revisions attempting to get a few inches of new vaginal tunnel. I even had colon vaginoplasty. The last revision was at the University of Miami by Dr. Christopher Sargato in 2018, and it left me with a colorectal fistula. I've been all over the country trying to seek help, but I have received none. Earlier this year, after hitting rock bottom with my depression, I reached out to a new...
I'm just shook. I'm like, got the heebie-jeebies. That's entirely too much. And see, it'd be one thing if I see all these trans activists and people pushing for trans kids. No one talks about this. This is
therapist. This therapist helped me realize that I have complex PTSD from a traumatic childhood, and also pointed out that I have body dysmorphia, OCD, borderline personality, and bipolar disorders. I also realized I had internalized homophobia. I realize now that medical transition was sold to me as a hardware fix for software issues. A few months ago, I started detransitioning by taking testosterone.
a hardware fix for software issues.
That is great.
Damn.
Right there. She says she had, or he says they had a hardware fix for software issues. So to all the people saying that it's a mental problem, that's exactly what that person is saying. After she transitioned, he transitioned, whatever you want to call it, and now they're stuck with it forever.
But they didn't worry about transitioning them over because they wanted the do-re-mi.
Nope. And now you're on lifetime meds forever. Sounds familiar.
Yep.
However, it is traumatic to be on testosterone without having functional genitals. Moreover, my back hurts every day due to osteoporosis and scoliosis that I developed post-SRS. I'm now dependent on synthetic hormones for life. I traded my perfectly healthy genitals for an artificial 1-inch tunnels that is sexually non-functional. I realized that I'm never getting back a functional penis, and full detransition is not really possible in my case. I feel stuck in surgically created body. I believe nobody under 18 should be allowed to medically transition. Sex reassignment surgery should only be allowed in very rare cases after a full psych evaluations. Patients should be made aware that what they're really getting is a cosmetic surgery, and it's a general approximation surgery that does not change biological sex.
There you go.
Damn.
There
There you go. Drop the mic. That's it.
So that's it.
That's it.
That's what he is saying in front of the Florida Congress to support the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. And that lady, the lady with the gray hair you were talking about earlier, that was also in front of the Florida Congress. And if you get in there and watch some of these people that claim to be trans in front of these places, they'll get up there and just scream for their whole 3 minutes. So people
who haven't even started transitioning.
No, who haven't even
started
that they're a woman. or a man, whichever one. Now, one thing I will say is that is the only one I've seen. Maybe that's one of the only ones that's gone that far, but that's one of the only ones I've seen that it was a biological male complaining because they went and cut their wing off and did a vagioplasty or whatever it's called. So that is one of the only ones of those, but it seems like most of these people don't go as far as they claim they want to go in a lot of stuff. So
we got that one last video before we open up our panel.
And then we'll open up the panel. So
everybody make sure you get your comments in and truck it. We're going to have a drawing at the end of the panel.
Yes, we will. So here is Sasha White interviewing transvagioplasty. So let's see. Whoop, there we go.
Let's push that algorithm out.
Let's push it out. So here we go. Be sure to like and share.
You can. There's such a wide variety of it, and it's all about projecting. Sorry, again, I'm going off on one.
That's fine.
I can't even remember what my original point was. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, everything you're saying, it brings up more important stuff, and the fantasy and the delusion. I said delusion, you said fantasy. When I say delusion, I'm wondering if the doctors, the surgeons have deluded themselves into thinking that they can really create the impossible, or they might also, or they might be psychopaths, like you said. It depends on the individual.
They know 100% it doesn't work. They know.
Mm-hmm.
They know. They are used car salesmen selling dodgy cars. They know exactly what they're doing. 1,000%.
Used car salesman.
I think some of the therapists don't have a clue. I think some of the therapists who have got a very frontline view, seeing people like in person before and maybe after, they don't see the recovery process. They don't see the gruesomeness. They don't see the long nights. They don't see the in-between bit, the despair, and because it's devastating. And they don't see that. And so they've got very naive view. My psychiatrist told me at the gender clinic that you'd be amazed at what the skin around the surgical site can do, implying that my brain would remap the skin to perform like labia in a way. Like, that's what I was told. And I believed that because I was very unwell. And not only was I unwell, but I didn't have that critical thinking because critical thinking was banned. There was
boom, there it is.
If gender critical or somebody back then would have approached us, and they were kind of non-existent. It was very fringe. Like when I started, like 2013, 14, it was very, very fringe. You'll be like, oh, that's just some random nut. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But by the time I would got surgery in about 2018, and there was a little bit of more gender critical voices, I was just like, I had a very misogynistic view of them. I was like, these are just jealous women. And you're just like, they're not jealous women. But you will believe what you want to believe. Or they just want to kill us. Or they're just ignorant. Or they're just like bored middle class housewives with nothing else to do. And it was all this sort of like, it was so easy to dismiss them and to whatever. But also, there's this belief with some of them that they were politely sitting on the sidelines going, you know, there are all these issues and all this sort of thing. And they'd like to pretend retrospectively that's what they were doing. But retrospectively, they were screaming just as badly as TRAs. So no one was listening to each other. I'm already in my camp. For me to change my mind, I then would be like them changing their mind. Why would they? Why would they? Why would they? They wouldn't. No one would. And this idea that just because everyone believes they are right, whatever they are doing, they believe that I'm right because of, you know, Marsha P. Johnson threw the first bricks, even though he didn't, sorry. See, even I've fucking been victimized by this Marsha P. rewriting history. They're trying to say that the Nazis were targeting the trans community. It was a load of bullshit. They were targeting gay men. Nazis loved to cross-dress, by the way. They had some big HEP shit, so I don't think they were like wholly against it. They were definitely against homosexual men, though, which is where the whole pink triangle thing came up. But everything's been retconned into this sort of trans thing. Even this delusional barrister in the UK, trying to remember his name, who is an absolute like disgusting looking person. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but they really are like if they came into my toilet, even though I'm going into the men's, I'd be like, fucking hell. Like anyway, but and I can't imagine that what women would feel. But this person, they said that they had a part in taking down the Berlin Wall because they were this is well before they transitioned as well, and they didn't, by the way. They had nothing to do with it. But it's like it's insanity. It's like fantasy, delusion, call it what you will. It's not reality based. It's not based in logic. It's based on fantastical thinking, which is why anime is capturing so many young people. And why are people running to this fantastical model and thinking? The world sucks. It really fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So we're not given much, and also the messages that are out and about there, you can say it's all like toxic, whatever. It's all a lot of bullshit. Like, things are bad. Money is tight for everyone. Like, prices are going up. Opportunities are getting less. You're just getting all this information flowed to you. The world is
That's
shit.
true.
Why wouldn't you want to live as an uwu anime girl, whatever? Why wouldn't you?
You need to change your algorithms,
I'm
buddy.
just saying, I empathize.
Yeah, algorithms, goodness.
In my opinion.
No, I was talking about his or her algorithms,
Because it's a
whichever
belief
one they are.
system. You've got to believe that you're part of something. You've got to believe that you're doing something, not just for yourself, but for others, that you are right because you are embracing the autonomy of liberalism by doing what you want with your body. But that is you're not doing what you want with your body because you are being misdirected to do what with what you want with your body.
There it is.
A load of bullshit. It's like
Right.
Jonestown Massacre bullshit.
Right, you're being misdirected by someone who has a profit motive, who
Hey,
has a career
Sydney.
motive, who has
Missed most of
all
the
of
show,
these
but-
ulterior motives where they're not the ones who are going to have to live with the results. They're not going to have to live with the pain and, like you said, the long nights and the dilation that you have to do if you want to keep the canal open. They're not going to have to live with the infections and all of that. It's like you said, when you said your surgeon would run a lot, I feel like he was trying to run away from the truth. He was trying to keep himself in his mindset where he didn't have to face up to it. And maybe when he got to the end, maybe he had, some moment of, we can only hope that he maybe had some moment of clarity or honesty with himself. But I mean, I see you shaking your head and it's like, most people like that, they probably don't. They probably never
And
do.
if you did, it wouldn't mean anything. would it?
Yeah,
'Cause
right. It
that's-
wouldn't change a thing. It wouldn't
No,
change a
I
thing.
mean, it would mean something if he came back and was like, listen, I have spent all my life on this destructive course. I've got this great, huge trust fund and foundation dedicated to the victims of all the butchery that I have personally endured. Okay, that's one thing. But you didn't. You died a very rich man, very affluent rich man, as most of them are. And it's, you've got a patient group that manages itself. That is amazing. Not only do they do your PR for you, because they're liking and they're sharing and they're promoting you, and you need, all you need to do is let the business come to you as well. All these very vulnerable, delusional people, you go, yeah, cutting your breasts off will affirm you as a man.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been on testosterone for 4 years, and this applies to women. And people I don't know why this isn't common knowledge, and I don't know why enough people aren't raving about it.
Exactly.
But women who take testosterone for a certain amount of time, and it's normally about the 4-5 year mark, are recommended to get a hysterectomy. And whilst I think the unnecessary removal of breasts is quite a bad thing, I think that is also way more criminal. It's so criminal to give a woman remove like a hysterectomy when they're like 24, 25, like for life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like
Right.
I don't. And it's these little things like and what we're doing and what we're creating. Yeah.
They have to live with forever. I mean, if people don't know, the hysterectomy thing is because when you're on.
So that was what we
challenge everybody to go and watch that interview in its full entirety, because he goes through a whole lot, including his.
I'll post the links in the comment. Sydney, tonight we're doing stuff. We're doing a show. Like I told you, my shows
On the
are usually
DTs.
political. We're doing shows on detransitioners. Dion, I just posted it in the comments. One thing, I know we're going to go a little over during this, and then I'll post. I know we said one more video, but I'm going to go ahead and post this because this is that Chloe's full story instead of just a little bit of it. It's only a few minutes long, but and then we'll post the link and go to break and let some people come in and wherever it is. But yeah, that guy's, I mean, woman, I don't know what to call him, but whenever they're like that, but
he was a guy who transitioned to a woman.
Yeah.
Had
So
a
he had
whole
the
lot
whole-
of medical issues.
Yeah,
And
I don't-
his doctor died. And when he went to other surgeons to get help, none of them would touch him. None of them would help him.
I agree, and that
He
seems
was
to
just
be
on his own.
That seems to be the trend with a lot of these people, like that man that transitioned to a woman that was fighting against the Don't Say Gay bill here in Florida, or fighting for the Don't Say Gay bill here in Florida. That was saying doctors won't touch him now, and it was like, now I got a 1-inch tube that's supposed
And that's
to be
what
a
he goes
vagina.
to the bathroom.
Yeah. And there's ones about people having to carry a freaking colostomy bag for years and still have to carry a freaking catheter because, I guess.
I mean, the things that these people are doing to these people to delusionalize and glamorize.
Sally, you've got a fan again. You've already
I
got another
do?
fan. Yep. I think she's talking about you.
Thank you.
So,
they're delusionalizing it, and then they're glamorizing it to make it seem like it's the thing to do.
Yeah, Dion, that's true. And we might bring that up during the panel. So, but let's hear Chloe's 5-minute story in front of the House of Representatives.
Yes, this is her fabulous testimony. I love this. Brave young woman.
Another way to put that would be, I used to believe that I was born in the wrong body. And the adults in my life whom I trusted affirmed my belief. And this caused me lifelong, irreversible harm. I speak to you today as a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America. I speak to you in the hope that you will have the courage to bring this scandal to an end and ensure that other vulnerable teenagers, children, and young adults don't go through what I went through. At the age of 12, I began to experience what my medical team would later diagnose as gender dysphoria. I was well into an early puberty, and I was very uncomfortable with the changes that were happening to my body. I was intimidated by male attention, and when I told my parents that I felt like a boy, in retrospect, all I meant was that I hated puberty, that I wanted this newfound sexual attention to go away, that I looked up to my brothers a little bit more than I did to my sisters. I came out as transgender in a letter I sent on the dining room table. My parents were immediately concerned. They felt like they needed to get outside help from medical professionals, but this proved to be a mistake. It immediately set our entire family down a path of ideologically motivated deceit and coercion. The gender specialist I was taken to see told my parents that I needed to be put on puberty blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question: would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son?
That's horrible.
The choice was
It
enough
is
for my
horrible.
parents to let their guard down, and in retrospect, I can't blame them. This was the moment that we all became victims of so-called gender-affirming care. I was fast-tracked onto puberty blockers and then testosterone. The resulting menopausal-like hot flashes made focusing on school impossible. I still get joint pains and weird pops in my back, but they were far worse when I was on the blockers. A month later, when I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. It's caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster. I had a double mastectomy at 15. They tested my amputated breast for cancer. And I was cancer-free, of course. I was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with my still developing body or my breasts, other than that, as an insecure teenage girl, I felt awkward about it. After my breasts were taken away from me, the tissue was incinerated. Before I was able to legally drive, I had a huge part of my future womanhood taken from me. I will never be able to breastfeed. I struggle to look at myself in the mirror at times. I still struggle to this day with sexual dysfunction. And I have massive scars across my chest. And the skin grafts that they took of my nipples are weeping fluid today. And they were grafted into a more masculine positioning, they said. After surgery, my grades in school plummeted. Everything that I went through did nothing to address my underlying mental health issues that I had. And my doctors, with their theories on gender, thought that all my problems would go away as soon as I was surgically transformed into something that vaguely resembled a boy. Their theories were wrong. The drugs and surgeries changed my body, but they did not and could not change the basic reality that I am and forever will be a female. When my specialist first told my parents that they could have a dead daughter or a live transgender son, I wasn't suicidal. I was a happy child who struggled
Wasn't
because
even
she was
suicidal.
different. However, at 16, after my surgery, I did become suicidal. I'm doing better now. But my parents almost got the dead daughter promised to them by my doctors. My doctors had almost created the very nightmare they said they were trying to avoid. So what message do I want to bring to American teenagers and their families? I didn't need to be lied to. I needed compassion. I needed to be loved. I needed to be given therapy to help me work through my issues, not affirm to my delusion that by transforming into a boy, it would solve all my problems. We need to stop telling 12-year-olds that they were born wrong, that they are right to reject their own bodies and feel uncomfortable with their own skin. We need to stop telling children that puberty is an option, that they can choose what kind of puberty they will go through, just so they can choose what clothes to wear or what music to listen to. Puberty is a rite of passage to adulthood, not a disease to be mitigated. Today, I should be at home with my family celebrating my 19th birthday, and instead I'm making a desperate plea to my elected representatives. Learn the lessons from other medical scandals like the opioid crisis, to recognize that doctors are human too, and sometimes they are wrong. My childhood was ruined along with thousands of detransitioners that I know through our networks. This needs to stop. You alone can stop it. Enough children have already been victimized by this barbaric pseudoscience. Please let me be your final warning. Thank you.
That is such a brave young woman. I am so proud
I
of
agree.
her.
Yes,
She's
I am
coming
too,
and bringing
because she was-
everything to light. There's another documentary and another movie that is coming out where she and another 5 or 6 people are actually discussing what they went through before, during, and after transition and detransition.
Yeah, and I mean it's a horrible problem with all this media and stuff just making it it's so
Okay,
fun.
Chad.
Come out on your real stuff. You know, I
Yep.
mean it's horrible. So,
It's
I mean,
horrible.
Like Stoney said, I hope she's still in here. But she was saying about how that's the same one because me and her were talking about it because she's one of them that really wanted us to do this show and or do it last week. But I know you weren't feeling good last week, so Maria.
Last week I was sick as a dog.
So
I'm making up this week.
Yeah. So
we're going to do it at the end of the panel.
Yeah, Dion, we're going to do it at the end of the panel. So we're going to take a break real quick. Here is the link for our StreamYard. And while we're taking a break, we're going to see who all wants to come into the panel. I'm going to play a song for our break and maybe an ad for the rest of our shows on the common denominator.
So anybody wants to join us in our open discussion panel, please feel free to click the link and join us.
Yeah, bad intro. I have a feeling you would have a lot to say other than just about the teas. So I could imagine what you would have to say on that.
Just remember, we're all supposed to be kind.
And a lot of my also bad intro. Remember, a lot of the friends I have on YouTube right now that are watching are paranormal peeps. So here we go. I'm going to put this full screen. Actually, here we go. And it's muted, of course.
They've torn Portland all to pieces and let Chicago go to hell. There's people leaving New York City like they rang the fire bell. They call themselves enlightened, but cancel those who don't agree. I wish all these folks who claim they're woke would just go back to sleep. I'm just saying, have we all lost our minds? I'm just saying, where do we draw the line? I know y'all think it takes balls to be singing what I'm singing, but I'm just saying what you're thinking. I believe in live and live, live. We're all free to each their own. If you were born a he, but wanna be a she, do your thing, but leave my kids alone. I'm just saying, have we all lost our minds? I'm just saying, where do we draw the line? I know y'all think it takes balls to be singing what I'm singing, but I'm just saying what you're thinking. We send them off to college to get them educated. They send them back to us indoctrinated. And how much are we paying? I'm just saying, have we all lost our minds? I'm just saying, where do we draw the line? No offense, but common sense is the direction that I'm leaning. Some of y'all think it takes balls to be singing what I'm singing, but I'm just saying what you're thinking. Yeah, what you're thinking.
All right. We got a few people up here. Hellcat, bad intro.
Sovereign.
I know you're not just for the tease.
Hey,
Maria.
welcome to the show.
I'm sure you. I wanted to finish the song first, Maria. So
Sally, I like you. I think your opinions are awesome.
you're breaking up a
I
little
think
bit.
her
Maria.
opinions are awesome.
Awesome. Bring your camera down a little bit, honey, so we can see all of you.
Oh yeah.
There you are.
Now it just
Did I
froze on you.
freeze? I froze. It did? Why do I? What the heck?
We all have.
That's
them
the fun of having a live show.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here I am.
Bad intro. Be nice.
Oh, we don't always have
Why
to
does
be nice.
the camera keep going off? What's up with that?
I can't hear you. Bad intro. If you're talking.
Oh, I'm not saying anything yet.
Oh, okay.
I'll be more responsive then, because if I do talk, I won't stop. It will be here for days.
Oh, I know.
I
We
have to
got
say
people
something.
like that. I'm surprised Stony
There I am.
didn't come up here. She won't quit talking either. So
Hey, more the merrier.
She will be up here. Trust me. She will be here. She's coming up.
oh, I'm sure you talk about somebody that won't quit talking. Stony won't quit talking.
Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? I've got this in the background. I need to shut that down. There we go.
There you
She's coming.
go.
Told you she was coming. She'll be there shortly.
Yeah, Stony will be on her
to the
way
store,
shortly. So.
and then she'll be here.
So bad intro, just so
That's
you
my
know,
bitch.
is somebody that's
Oh,
lived a hard
Sissy.
life and has recently found Christ. So
Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the fold.
he's being quiet right now.
Absolutely.
He's talking bad intro all the time on Discord.
I think all this stuff that's going on is pissing God
Yeah.
off, really. Well, pissing
Well,
him
as it
off.
was in the times of Noah, so shall it be when he returns.
He meant for
Bad
this
intro
and
is just-
that.
bad intro is
If
right
he
now
wanted
thinking about
to
what he
have
wants
this,
to
that,
say.
and the other, he would have done it. But he didn't. He did this and that.
Well, remember, it got pretty rough. It got pretty rough.
I feel like I would do better with questions than just talking, because like I said, I can go off for a while. Last 2 years, like being basically retired, these last 2 years I've kind of made it a full-time job studying theology, and I got a lot to say, but
Hey, I've been doing theology for all my life. So
What
yeah,
do you think?
Mama
of my
Sally might be
opinion?
able to give everybody a run for their
That
money.
intro. What do you think of my opinion? That intro.
what was that?
I'm curious. I'd like to know. What do you think of my opinion? What do you think
Oh,
of
what?
my opinion that God made this and that, not this, that, and the other?
What do you mean?
I'm
Genders.
just curious. That's all.
They made
Like
Adam
God
and
made
Eve,
man,
not-
woman. He didn't make.
He made man,
and
woman,
what
and
gender
it.
You feel
Okay,
like.
so since you asked, well, if you look at the image
Yes,
of
sir.
Baphomet, one of the known demons, you can tell that it's a goat head, female tits, and male genitalia. That's no different than what this whole trans ideology is.
Stony, be nice and let other people talk. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I just interrupted you. Bad intro.
Oh no, you're good. But
Yeah.
it is blasphemy,
Yeah.
and it's
Stony,
not
be good
anything
girl.
against-
Stony, be good girl. Trust me.
It's not against anything about the people who are doing it. It's the sin that they're committing is hopefully wrong, while the whole world is cheering them on.
Amen, sir.
So, what do you
I
think about
agree.
these
I
people
agree
that are realizing
100%
that?
with you. You are absolutely
Detransition.
correct. He's absolutely correct.
What was that, Chad?
I was saying, so what do you
He's a
think about
smart
these
dude.
people that are detransitioning? And a lot of them are going to God and Jesus and everything like
Well,
that.
I mean, God bless them. It's nothing. There's nothing that can't be forgiven by God, but this is something that they're going to have to live with for the rest of their life. And
True.
Chad, you know a lot about my sins. That I'm
Oh yeah,
sort
I
of-
wasn't going to bring them up or anything.
No, that's
but-
okay. But I mean, I've been actually starting to tell more people about that because I'm trying to get past the shame and the weight of my own sins that has been making me a very miserable and angry person. And that's why I'm trying not to burst out wanting to talk about this stuff is because it's like that stuff's heavy, and the things those people are going to have to deal with for the end of their days. I mean, even coming to God, God won't take away those memories and that pain away from you. You have to live with your decisions, and God bless them, and I hope that they can actually see the true light. But we're getting into a point where somebody said it well. We are living in Babylon, pretty much. I mean, what's
Sodom and Gomorrah?
And beyond that, what's different than between the Canaanites and the abortion clinics?
Right.
They were killing their children for self-gain. Well, what are people doing with mass abortion? They're killing their children for their own personal gain.
Well, as much as I agree with you on that,
Tom McDonald bothers me, but Tom McDonald said it true. Tom McDonald on the subject said it true. It's like, what happened to the reality of the Bible? All of a sudden, it's reality of socialism.
No, it's mental health issues that nobody's addressing. They're changing their gender. They're addressing the real issues, which is their brain.
You're breaking up real bad, Stoney.
I know, I'm walking.
Stoney, are we at the store? Okay,
Yes.
she's walking. She'll be back soon.
Sounds like the Peanuts
Be
teacher.
home soon. Yes. Yeah, Stoney's got great opinions on everything.
Yeah, Stoney's got opinions on everything.
That's my bitch. She's smart.
Yes.
And like
But bad intro. I'm going to tell you, God's not going to bring you through something. God's not going to bring you through something that He's not going to make sure you're going to have a testimony that's going to help somebody else down the road, sir. So don't be ashamed of anything you've lived through, because you are a walking, living testament to God's grace and mercy.
Well, and I know that the things that I've gone through and have
Wow,
done,
I'm so glad you said that.
I can use to help other people and try to help prevent them from committing the same
Yeah.
mistakes. But yeah, no, it's still a very difficult thing. I mean, I'm not even saying mine's that honestly that difficult as somebody that's detransitioning. But I just couldn't imagine. I could not possibly imagine for these people, especially coming.
And their stories are so traumatic.
Yeah.
You know, when they start transitioning teenagers.
Decided to transition.
Yeah, when they
The girl
start.
that transitioned to a male, and all of a sudden she just don't want
Chloe?
it no more. How do you deal with?
And then I've also
How do you
heard
deal
stories
with
about
that?
when they like say the whatever it's called, vaginoplasty or whatever, when they turn a man into a woman, like your hair, like I mean, they're pretty much turning your wiener inside out. So a lot of that I've seen people
They split it in
about-
half, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've heard people talking about hair growing up in their new vagina and stuff
I
like
just
that.
don't understand how people can deal with it.
I hope Stoney doesn't have us on speaker walking around that store.
She looks like she's at Walmart.
Oh, she walks to the store a lot. so
Probably.
it wouldn't surprise me. So, but yeah.
No, she ain't at Walmart. Then you pause and you say, "Mom, I am so sorry."
But yeah, she.
You're welcome. That was my kid. Sorry. Chad knows her. That was Vanessa. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So. Yeah, and see, Lorna says sadly they not
Hey,
only have to
Lorna.
live with physical scars, but psychological ones. I don't know how much of our show you caught tonight, Lorna, but yeah, a lot of that was about psychological scars.
And here's, coming from my perspective, here's why I think it's even harder, because if you think of it from a very secular standpoint, these psychological scars, you can get over them like eventually, not quickly, but eventually. But when you come to the fullness of Christ, if you truly like seek God and have an experience, and I'm not saying mine was even like that fantastic, but like the experience I had, I couldn't deny what I experienced.
Right.
And I went from being a pagan for 18 years to I'm now like officially, I
I
guess
was into
officially on a path
witchcraft.
towards I'm on a path towards priesthood. I can't deny, and it's not like when I because like I told Chad about my sins before, when I talk about them subjectively, it's something that you can get over and people won't be ashamed of you, but it's not about people around you. It's about like knowing what you've done before a God that has created you perfectly and you've now just mutilated his
Absolutely.
image.
Absolutely.
How I couldn't live with that. Like if I had done something like that, I don't know how I'd be able to function on a daily basis.
No, I don't know how I'd live with, like, just like even praying to God, I wouldn't know how to feel, because, and I have to tell my little thing here. I had my colon burst, and I had a colostomy bag for 3 months. I had infection 5 days after the surgery. The pain was so bad that I seriously, and this is honest God's truth, my dog, and everybody knows me and my dog. I thought about committing suicide, but I looked at my grandmother's cross on the wall right in front of me, and I said, if you take away this pain to where it's tolerable, I will quit the witchcraft. And not 30 seconds later, that pain subsided to where I could tolerate it. And I threw all my stuff away. My books, my cape, my wand, my candles, I threw it all out. And that's why I believe that God is not okay with this stuff. He's not okay with
He's
it.
not.
No, he's not.
He put it in the
Absolutely.
Bible. I made man and I made woman. I made man and I made woman. And that's the way it should stay.
Well,
If
here,
you
I
have
mean,
a
here's
problem with that, so what? You go through life and you're whatever, but you stay the way that you are.
well, here's something even beyond that
Because
too. Is
everybody
like
who
the-
keeps changing this shit is turn them off.
the one thing I don't understand is
Go ahead,
why.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Well, why would a woman ever want to be a man, and why would a man ever want to be a woman? So, like, women were made special. Women can do things men cannot. God has given women a heart of wax. You are soft. You are able to care and love like no man ever can. There's nothing to be envious of being a man or a man being a woman. You are given these special talents, these abilities as who you were born to be. And you excel at these things.
Right.
You can't be the other. I could never have the tender compassion, love, and care a woman could, or the automatic natural ability to be motherly towards the young. Like, that is a special gift that no one should just forego
Right.
because somebody told them that they were in the wrong body. That's ridiculous.
That's true. But I do
it's
know
crazy.
gay men that are very feminine. I mean, extremely feminine.
I do too.
And they are very
And they're
loving,
the-
caring, compassionate
the best
people, but they
people we
know
know.
that they are men and they know that they are gay.
I know several lesbian women that are very butch.
I had a girlfriend for a year. For 1 year, I had a girlfriend. So, and I was
I get
called,
mistaken as a
homophobic.
gay. I get called cisgen all the time. I don't know what the hell that means. I saw the definition in the comments.
I understand
But
that you're attracted to the same sex. That's fine. Don't change your sex because of it.
I'm on a different stance. I don't think people should do that.
Look.
That was
I'm a woman. I
There's
am a
not-
straight
that's
woman.
the
Let's
same.
get this straight.
I
I
wouldn't
am
do it
a
again, put it
straight
that way.
woman.
Well,
I work
mean-
in a predominantly male atmosphere. This is where I've always known I was going to be since I was 8 years old. I'm a third generation truck driver.
I know what you're
I
going at.
understand
That
that,
intro.
Leon.
But I get
an
mistaken as
abomination.
as a lesbian all the time, and I'm not.
I mean, looks. I don't think looks really apply though. I mean, you shouldn't judge somebody by how their appearance is. I mean, like Chad said, there's butch women that they try, but they're still not manly. You can act more masculine, but you're still.
mean,
not
they
No,
act more
I'm very
masculine.
tomboyish.
Yeah.
They act very
I'm
masculine.
absolutely
They're
a tomboy.
lesbians. They're
But I would never
lesbians.
classify you as a
I
man.
gotcha.
But whenever it comes to taking care of kids and stuff like that, then
Don't push your shit on them. Don't
well,
push
no,
it
I mean
on
most of the
them.
lesbians
They
I know
go
invite
their own
that.
way.
They invite
Yeah.
that I mean, they're like, hey, look at my cousin, look at my nephew, look at my niece, look at and I mean, they're more than will. I mean, they're not pushing their stuff, their ideas on the kids or nothing like that, but they're like Bad Intro was saying, very feminine, you know, as far as whenever they comes to childcare or loving or being a parent or being a mother, not a parent, but they're still very feminine whenever it comes to stuff like that. So, I mean, you know, they've got 15 dogs living at home because they want to rescue animals, you know, and that's not just a feminine thing, but it is more feminine to be motherly or support. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right. What kills me is the fuckers out there saying, I have a period. The hell, you ain't got no cervix for a period. And the hell
Or a
with
uterus.
I am nursing this baby. The hell you are, you ain't got no milk ducts. I don't know what you're feeding that baby, but don't do it.
I want to touch something on somebody said in chat, and I don't want to clarify my position on this because I don't want people to think I'm that crazy. So Investigation 13 said, like, what will happen to the people at the gate of judgment? The same as anybody that fornicates before marriage, who, you know, like I was a fornicator. It's not something to brag about, but I've been with hundreds of women in my life. It's just as bad as doing homosexual acts. You can be attracted to a different person all day long, and I don't care. I really don't care what you do in your closed space. But when you accept God and know that God is true, you will not enter the gates, or you will not enter the kingdom if this is something that you willfully do, knowing that God has said you cannot do that. And that's same for me. I've been abstinent for 2 years because of it. I won't have sex with anybody before marriage now because I am terrified.
Let me explain something that Bad Intro has explained to me before whenever I've talked to him about stuff like that. It's like being gay or lesbian is a sin in the Bible.
Well,
okay?
the act of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can go and ask for forgiveness, but if you keep doing the same thing over again, because
you're pretty much spitting in God's face.
It's no longer called a sin. That's what's called an iniquity. So an iniquity is something when you willfully do
things I've done.
So I'm not I mean,
do it again.
I've had hours and hours long conversations with Bad Intro about this, but I'm not against being gay or lesbian. But
not either.
He's right about that. He's right about that. You know, I've had this Bad Intro is one of the only people that I've been able to sit and talk for hours about religion, and nobody raised their voice. So
I hear you. Well, see, yes, I was a woman for a year. Okay. I had problems back then. I was drifting around the world. I was an alcoholic, and I did what I did. But I've asked for forgiveness for that because I know with my Catholic bringing up that was not correct, but I've never redone it. So I knew what was wrong and what was right. So I think that my opinion counts a little bit of, yeah, I know what's wrong and right. Yes, I may have done wrong. And yes, God forgives. But I didn't redo it to like be blasphemous. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when you ask for forgiveness and you ask Christ into your heart, at that point in time, whatever sins you were forgiven of, you're supposed to turn away from them and never do them again.
Absolutely, right. I did. Absolutely, I did. Yeah. Never, ever again did I do what I've asked for forgiveness. I've asked for forgiveness for a few things, and I've never.
Oh, I ask for forgiveness every day because I can promise you I am not a perfect Christian.
None of us are.
Oh, hell no. Neither am I.
Well,
but the things that were major, I've asked for forgiveness for, I've never went back to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing.
Well, that's like when God was destroying Sodom and Gomorrah and he told them to leave with their wives, and what was it? Lot's wife turned around to look behind, and she turned to a pillar of salt.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing. He told them to leave and don't look back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you look back and say, "Oh, I really missed this," then it's not cool.
Sorry.
Dang, what was that, dude? Oh my God, is everything
The dog
okay?
just like knocked over my canvas and then freaked out and started running into all the furniture. Sorry.
Way to go, puppy. Yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
Okay,
I've
so I
been
guess we're gonna have to
reading
go ahead and do our
talking a
drawing.
lot about God and the way things are supposed to be,
Mhm.
and I find a lot of things wrong in society.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a whole lot.
I guess we're gonna
Oh
have
my
to go ahead
God.
and do our drawing real quick because the guy that does the drawings is said his internet's going out. So you can either get a Trump flag or a frog leg necklace tonight.
On Trump flag.
So
And
go ahead and roll.
3, 2, 1.
Moist Carhole, you're incorrect.
Running with scissors.
Yay!
still
First
here?
time viewer.
My love got it.
I know she'll
You
be
go
around here,
strong.
so you know I won't do the countdown for it, but
What do you,
You wanna-
say?
She's right
Just
there.
for
She's right there.
what do you want running with scissors? Do you want a Trump flag or a frog necklace?
Come on, baby girl. What do you want?
Are you still around, Vince, to show the frog necklace that you could give away? Or Dave?
I really hate
Do
when
the
comments
Trump,
slow
baby.
down.
Do the Trump. I know my girl. She's gonna do the Trump flag.
She says Trump flag.
Oh, Trump flag.
All
All
right,
right.
I know her. I know
send
So
that girl.
let's say with such an honor having our guest here, let's do it again and give away that frog's necklace.
There you go.
I'm feeling froggy. Let's jump for it.
You know,
Yeah,
you
go
know,
ahead.
you know, scissors will give you your address and group.
Running with scissors, send your address to that
That's
the
a real
paramystic
frog leg.
at Gmail, and he will send you a Trump.
There's the
Dave,
frog leg.
There's the well, that's not the one Vince was showing,
Oh
but there's a
my
frog
God,
leg necklace
quiet.
that's homemade.
No,
I pulled that chicken out.
Oh, thank you. Be quiet. Go out the door and don't be here for this round.
I don't even want to be.
Okay. That's her favorite animal in the whole world.
Oh,
So if you want to roll another one to give away some frog legs,
No, shut the fuck up. That's it.
Oh God, it'd be epic if I won. I'd fucking slam it in her face. Yay!
oh no. He can't have it.
yeah, can't give it away to himself. He's already got it. So
I got you.
Rain.
Rain!
Yay, rain!
You want some frog legs? A frog
You got
leg
a frog
necklace?
leg
Rain?
necklace.
Send it to your
By
niece.
default.
She'll kick your ass.
Congratulations. I think that's the
Your
first
butt.
frog leg necklace we've given away.
That is the first frog leg necklace we've given away.
I'm going to tell you, anybody that wants to comment or actually send me an email at theparamystic@gmail.com. If you really want a frog leg necklace, I'll send you a couple of them because Vincent was so nice enough to send me like 80.
Awesome.
I want one. What is the address again?
It's the paramystic, or you go ahead and put. I took it down. Let me see.
Way to go, Chad.
I was trying not to block out Bad Intro's face.
You know, every time I see that necklace, I think of the song Jump.
Oh, he's got it in chat. That's great.
Oh, okay. There we go. We don't have Truck It t-shirts yet. We need to get some though, don't we?
Well, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And you know what? I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know we're not through with this panel, but thank you from the bottom of my heart to the top of my head. Y'all are great. Thank you for being here.
Very much so. Thank you for everybody coming in.
You've made our night.
Well, Sally, I think your opinions are epic. I think your opinions are just spot on.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
I was like, I have to get up here with this lady. You're welcome.
Everybody loves Sally. I knew everybody had loved Sally. Plus, you're both in the same crazy place or from the crazy
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
I think people are from Florida are bad.
Well,
Why
look,
not?
we
We know
this-
you,
this-
Chad, so what the hell?
Well, I'm the outsider here because Bad Intro lives where Sally's at, or Sally lives at now. So,
yep. I think so.
And
Anyway,
nobody
I'm in
lives in the
Oklahoma.
center of the
Yeah,
United
are
States,
you
and
in
that's
Oklahoma City?
Missouri.
Yep, I'm in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma City?
No, I was actually there day before yesterday.
Will you be here this weekend?
There's no telling where I'm going to be. I was in Wichita Falls, Texas today too.
she's at a truck stop right now, if that tells you.
I'm at a
anything.
truck stop. I'm parked for the night.
I was gonna say if you're here, you should come to church with me on Sunday.
Well, I tell you what, if I'm up in the neighborhood, I will most definitely give you a holler.
You ever been into an Orthodox church?
I've been to a lot of different churches.
Not many people know about the Orthodox. It's pretty nuts. It's a mind blower.
Well, as long as they don't mind me wearing what I got, because I ain't got nothing fancy.
Come as you are.
So, well, I was raised by a Catholic. I went to a Presbyterian school, a Methodist college, and I'm a Southern Baptist.
Yeah, that's all Western Christianity. This is Eastern.
I was raised by a
No, no,
Catholic,
no.
went to a Mennonite church, went to a Catholic school.
Jeez.
She is full out Catholic.
Mennonites are something else.
They tripping, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
We got off on topic there.
Yeah.
But
See,
I believe in paranormal spirits. That's what I believe in. I'm just saying.
well, God
That's the
gives us
church I
all
go
our gift. God gives us all a
True,
gift.
very true.
How
Absolutely.
we use it is
And my gift
is what is meant for.
My gift is I'm an empath. I'm an empath, and so is Stony, and we can also see spirits. Because
Hello,
I've seen
sister.
my daughter, I've seen my mother, I've seen my granddaughter, which was a baby.
Well, you don't want
when
to set
she
bad
died.
intro off on a lot of that stuff because he's definitely doesn't believe in a lot of that stuff. So
Well,
I'm just
Well,
I'm just
what I've
they're
seen. I have definitely seen what I've seen. My dog, I have a video of my dog seeing something the day after my daughter died in a room that he loved to go in. He would not.
but I
go
don't want
in
to
that
get too
room.
far off of our topic
I
tonight.
know. Here we go.
So, you know,
Oh yeah, because I
Let me
could
shut
accidentally
up. I'll
change
be
this
all
whole
right.
subject to ecclesiology in a heartbeat.
yeah, he could. So I'm like I
Yeah,
said, I've
straight
been
up.
on
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I've been on the videos with Bad Intro too for hours talking about all this stuff. So
well, there are so many topics out there that, all have variants in tonight's show.
yeah, you're
Uh,
right. You're right. So
But when it comes to the transgender thing, I truly believe that this is not what God intended.
no,
It's
because I
not.
mean I know some people are born with like not
The
perfect, like they might be.
the morphodites are
Yeah.
born with both genitalias.
That's less
Or-
than
At a
1%,
certain
though.
at a
That's
certain
different-
time in life, they have to decide what gender they really want to lean to. They are the exclusion.
Excuse me, man.
The 0.01% or whatever.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
So,
it's
what were you going
negligible
to say?
even include
That
those
intro?
people into that.
What's that?
'Cause it's negligible to even include those people into that whole trans thing because the trans
Yeah, and-
movement's something
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah, that is completely
Yeah.
different. That is actually a
Medical
physical,
condition.
whatever you want to call, or medical. That is a true
Mm.
physical medical condition to where.
Yes.
See, I only see the trans thing as a two category situation. Either you are the deceived and you are like the people that you showed tonight who come out of it eventually completely ruined of their normal
Yeah.
human state, or you are a deceiver and you are perverse and you are doing this to control others, or you are full of yourself as a narcissist and you want this attention that you don't really deserve, but you will do extreme great lengths to make that happen.
Or you're pure evil and you're just doing it for the do re mi.
Yeah, and that's that category as well. It's just there's only two categories: you're either deceived and a victim, or you are the victimizer.
I mean,
But the thing is, they are targeting our children at a very vulnerable time to really confuse them when their mental states are trying to figure out who they want to be in life.
yeah, I mean, it's
Girls are developing and they're very timid and very subconscious about their body development. And guys are extremely curious because these women, these young girls that they've known that's been flat chested their entire life are starting to grow breast.
well, guys are the same way. You know, yeah, my Carhole, we were talking about that earlier, is how brains don't fully develop into your 20s. I'm not going to say your name you got put up here right now, but
I don't think I was retarded until I was 26. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was pretty dumb.
But I mean, they're targeting these children and they're still trying to figure out who they are as a person.
Hey,
and then they
Kimberly.
start screwing them around. And it's not cool. But if you say anything, you get put on a terrorist watch list.
Well, so they're actually, the government has classified this whole movement as the LGBT community is a religion. They have their own dogma. They have their own hierarchies. Just like that person was saying, like the T's are considered the highest part of they're the high priests of this basically a religion. And everybody else doesn't have a say like they do because they're the bravest.
Hey, Derek.
Hey,
Derek's another
Hello,
one of my
Derek.
I'm sorry
friends
for
from YouTube.
I have to drop down because I have to finish my supper. I have to finish, or the men will be bitching. So I have to finish my supper. So I hate to drop down. I think every one of you guys' opinions is awesome. You know.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight and sharing your views and your opinions
I
too.
appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
It was
thank
so
you for
much
coming
fun.
on.
Oh,
I'm sure
thank
we'll
you,
talk
Chad.
again later. Talk again soon.
You know we will. Phone call. Here we are.
Every Tuesday, 7 p.m.
8 p.m. my time. Well,
Well,
7 p.m.
don't
probably her
confuse
time,
them,
but
Chad.
Everybody on here, well, Derek's from Eastern time, but everybody else is from Central time. So
I have a lot. You guys brought up a lot of good things tonight. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Derek.
And as someone who's been in 12-step recovery as most of over 20 years, but I don't have that long clean. Don't give me a. I've seen a lot of things in my travels, in terms of what we're discussing tonight. And in 12-step recovery, you have to be accepting of other people. So if I'm sitting next to a trans person, I can't really say, well, I don't agree with your life choices, right? So, but over the years, especially since the pandemic, we'll say, I've seen a lot of shit that I don't agree with.
I mean, I think there's a difference between. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sally.
I was just saying I agree with him.
You don't have to accept people. We have to tolerate people. I think there's a language difference where I do not accept any of those lifestyles.
And you know what? I agree with you. I don't either anymore. But I'm just saying, if I'm sitting by someone in a church basement at a meeting, I'm not going to really go to him and say, hey, listen, I know who you are. I know what you are. I don't really agree with it. But that's just because.
Yeah, I mean, nobody should really. It's one of those things, unless somebody asks, it's not really our place to go tell people what's right or wrong. I mean, in some cases, I think this whole trans thing needs to be shut down immediately with messing with children. But you're right. Like, if somebody's a grown adult, they can pick whatever lifestyle they want. But if they ask my opinion, I'll let them know.
Well, and there are times that I see a trans person in a women's bathroom, and I've done this twice. I have escorted them out of the bathroom because they were just absolutely creeps, and you could tell that they were pedophiles dressing up like a woman just to get into a woman's space where they knew they might not be protected.
Well, it's just like here, because I'm in Canada, and I'm sure you guys know about what we are going through right now. So,
$15,000 fine for misgendering somebody. Wow.
Well, I got some story. Well, there, right? You guys know. You guys are familiar with Toronto, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Well, there. Well, there's a news agency that I watch a lot, and they are like, we all grew up with NBC, CBS, and all those true Tom Brokaw. Well, this news agency here in Ontario is exactly like those old school news. They don't believe in censorship. They report on the truth. They'll get right up in front of Trudeau's face and say, "What are you doing to our country?" So
that's good.
So there's this man, which I believe he is, dressed, who's going through that gender reassignment, whatever. I think it's all BS. He wants to be able to swim in a public indoor pool with girls. And this news agency is calling our government out on that right now. So
I want to clarify, the Bible doesn't say not to judge. It says to judge rightly. The rest of the passage says if you judge, you'd also judge yourself. So
I don't want you guys to think I judge people, because I don't. At least I try not to.
No, he was responding to the comment.
Yeah, no, not you. I'm sorry. Yeah, Moise said, like you said, it's not to judge. A lot of people quote that, because the rest of the passage says to if you do judge, you're judging yourself as well. So
and
you're not supposed to like you said, Derek, you're not supposed to call somebody out just because you don't agree with their opinion.
Right.
But you still, if you know the Bible and you know what God has asked, you can still know what is right and wrong, and it is more loving if they ask your opinion to correct that. So you don't have to affirm anybody's delusions. Like that, this whole transgender thing is a delusion. And people are finally figuring. I mean, I'm surprised that it's happening this soon. I figured we still had another 5 years before people started coming out saying that their lives are ruined because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of them coming out. That we were just trying to do the show for. We usually have an hour-long show, but after talking to a lot of the people on YouTube, like Derek and Stoney and the lady Marie on here earlier, and they were wanting me to do a panel after the show, and then you joined in. And so I was like, I bet Bad Intro has a lot to say about this. So.
I'm being tame.
Oh no, you're being real tame. I'm not saying you're not. You're always tame, man.
Well, I'm watching my P's and Q's on your panel, so Chad. So I mean, like,
you see how many subscribers we have, so we're not monetized or nothing.
But I'm like, I don't know Mama Sally. I don't know Bad Intro yet. Hopefully later on, but
he's from Twitch, so.
And I'm from the most corrupt country in the world as of right now.
No, I didn't mean country. I meant he's from.
Oh, it's okay. It's no secret about how corrupt my government is here, but we're good. That's another rabbit hole, like Sally
Look,
said.
I saw how corrupt they were during the truckers' protest. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek. You got a story for that.
And I went to Ottawa to protest to be on your guys' side. So.
Oh crap! I'll be back.
But
Oh yeah, I followed that religiously every day.
But I don't judge people. I try to tolerate people. It's just
you have to appreciate the people for who they are as a person. You don't have to approve of their lifestyle choices.
Right. Mm-hmm. And no,
okay.
I mean,
that's just the way it goes.
I'll be honest. I mean, I'm guilty of judging people. It's something I'm going to be working on the rest of my life. I judge harshly because if it's something I've done in my past and I see other people doing it, I can't help but judge them.
Oh, I'm not saying that I've never judged. I've judged people in the past. It's just now I'm very cautious because there's an old saying. Jesus once said, Jesus once said, let him who has not sinned cast the first stone. And I very much think that plays in my mind every single day.
Well, and then in like the literal context of that, like you're saying, I mean, he was talking about people stoning the girl, but he also means the same thing is like, you don't go around damning or condemning people for their actions, out of the blue. It's when it's harmful to others and needs to be addressed, or if somebody asks your opinion, then you can condemn the actions that are wrong. Like that's a very acceptable thing. It's more loving to tell somebody they're walking off a cliff than allow them to walk off and be like, well, I wasn't trying to judge.
Right.
Like if somebody
if you keep walking that way, you're going to fall off the cliff and kill yourself. Turn around and come back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, cheesesteak.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
And who might you be? You have a very small name there.
Well, on YouTube, I'm Miss Cheesecake.
Oh, hey, Miss Cheesecake.
Hi. No, I live in Texas, born and raised in Alabama,
Hey,
and
sister.
being raised in the deep South, and especially in Alabama, being gay or lesbian, transgender is in
A
my
cardinal sin.
from my perspective is heavily frowned upon.
It is.
Heavily frowned upon.
Amen.
I was raised in Mississippi.
Well, then you understand what I'm saying. Being raised in Mississippi, I'm fairly certain it was heavily frowned upon.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's, Baptist Methodist here. That's, how I was raised, Baptist Methodist. Again, heavily frowned upon. Yes, it's, a sin. So, yeah, we didn't, if we were gay or lesbian, we didn't come out and just say, oh, I'm gay or I'm lesbian or I'm transgender. You didn't because you knew you would be looked at differently, oddly. Nobody'd want to be friends with you. They'll be like, oh no, oh, ooh, gross, get away from me,
Or if you came out, your parents automatically kicked you out of the house and disowned you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I have worked with several families that has happened, including my own nephew, which, by the way, I am very proud of. Okay, he's been his own person, and that's why I'm proud of him.
Right.
But I have to ask the parents who do the kicking out, that's still your son or your daughter.
Right.
Because of their sexual preference, that doesn't change who they are as a person.
No, it don't.
And that's what people fail to understand when they look or have that discussion with somebody who's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They automatically want to start throwing stones at him and like, oh, I can't believe this. You're an abomination. No, they're not. Their choices in life and their sexual preference is what we have a distaste for. It doesn't affect the person that they are.
No, it don't.
I'm glad
and that,
sorry.
And then that's where you have to draw that line, say, hey, look, I love you as a person. I love you as you are. I do not approve of that particular lifestyle.
It's more of, instead of fussing, yelling, screaming at them, oh, you're you're this, you're that, blah, blah. Instead of screaming and yelling, like I said, sit down, hold that discussion and say like what you're saying. Have a discussion with them. Let them know that okay, so you're gay. And let them know that it is wrong in the eyes of God, but at the same time, and let them know that they're loved. They're still loved. You're still my child, but I can't have you. I'm not sure if disruptive would be the appropriate word to go with here, but I'm going to run with it. I can't have you being disruptive with your nieces, nephews, cousins, that sort of thing. Yeah. I want you to understand that it's disruptive and it's wrong. Like I said, disruptive may not be the appropriate word to use, but like I said, I'm going to run with it.
It's like, you know what? I'm glad you guys are saying this, because it jogs something in my memory that over the years we hear so much, you know what I mean? And there's certain things that resonate and stick with us, you know what I'm saying? Well, my friend's a devout Christian. He reads scripture every day and whatever. He has said to me so many times, love the sinner, hate the sin.
Amen.
Right. And too, with your kids, if they come out as being gay, you're better off.
Okay, somebody hit the mute button.
Cheesecake, you're mute.
Probably Rebel.
Cheesecake's
Hey,
mute.
Cheesecake, you're muted or something. You're not muted on here.
We can't
Yeah, we
hear
can't hear
you.
Cheesecake.
Well, I'll say something. I want to say something on top of that too about you said it.
No. We can't hear you.
She's talking to Cheesecake. Go ahead, bad intro.
I'll say you're talking about love the sinner, not the sin. Saint Nicholas Velimirovic said, "If you constantly count the sins of others, you'll multiply yours." So, and that's why we should focus on our own sins and not typically the others. Even though we're talking about such things in a panel like this, there's no person here that we're counting the sins of, but I mean, the sins are still sins, and it's hard to ignore. And you want to love everybody, and that's what you should do. And it's hard to have a family. I mean, I've never had a family member like that, but I know a guy at my church who's dealing with that with his daughter, saying that she thinks she might be gay. It's tough because how do you let that person know that it's wrong without making them feel like a wrong person?
Right.
It's really hard, especially in this day and age, because everybody is so darn
I
sensitive.
can hear you.
Everyone is so
Okay, good.
everyone is so darn sensitive. So that's hard to do in this day and age, without, people saying, "Oh, you hate me, you want me to," and I mean, it's
That's a language problem. America has been accused by many other countries for manipulating their language beyond recognition. Hatred is now used for practically anything that you disagree with. If you correct somebody with factual evidence that they're wrong, you are hateful.
Yes.
Even the word homophobe is a pretty stupid word. Nobody's afraid of gay people. They just don't like what you're doing. It's a difference. Make a real word for that. But it's not phobe. I'm not a transphobe. I just think it's a terrible ideology.
Talking about the sins, I've never had to. What Cheesecake was saying about the analogy about the family member that's gay and all that stuff. As a recovering drug addict, I've been judged for my sins.
Right.
And I've been on the city bus, and people have asked me, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm going to a 12-step recovery meeting, and they're like, "Well, I'm sorry about you. I'm sorry for you, and I'll pray for you." And I'm like, "Sorry for me? Don't be sorry for me just because I'm a recovering drug addict. My experiences, my mistakes, my life lessons made me the person I am today."
They give you your testimony in life.
Yeah.
Each of us have a path we have to walk in life.
Yeah.
We have to live and go through certain events so that we can be a testimony to somebody else and help them through so that they don't feel like they are totally worthless and useless and just a complete pile of poop.
I can't count on my fingers and toes how many people I've sat with after meetings that were struggling that have said, "Derek, I don't know if I like girls or guys. And I'm like, why are you telling me this?" And people have said to me, "We can come to you because you're very open-minded. You have that heart where you actually care." And I'm like, me? I'm just one person,
And say, Derek, you can use your past and your recovery, make it your own for the better. Make it your story. You could become a counselor for those who are in need of rehab, and you can counsel them.
Well, I think I agree with you, Cheesecake, and Bad Intro's the same way. But he's doing it in a religious manner now. Trying to show people, but he's not really doing it all. Most of what of what, and I mean a strong most, that Bad Intro says, I have to agree with. Me and him used to argue all the time on Discord. Not argue, discuss. We didn't argue about stuff. We discussed.
Heavily discussed, sir. Heavily discussed.
Heavily discussed, because me and Bad Intro never got mad at each other talking on Discord at each other. It was more like kind of how if I'm talking to y'all and it's like, "Man, it's freaking 5 o'clock in the morning here. I need to go to bed." And he'll be like, "Yeah, me too." So
4 o'clock in the morning.
And then talk for another hour. So, Yeah.
No, Derek, I'm going to tell you, I wish I had known somebody like you who is actually able to achieve and overcome their drug addiction. Because maybe my brother and his son, my nephew, might be alive today because they lost their fight with drug addiction.
No, and you know what? And you know what? The statistics of people like me actually I don't want to say overcoming because it's a struggle every day.
It's a struggle every day. It's the rest of your life.
You know what? I'm gonna say. You know, I live in Windsor, and I walk outside my door and I see people with shopping carts, and people. Just today, I'm outside. I'm going to the grocery store. I walk outside with my stuff. I must have saw about 5 people I knew, a couple from grade school and a few from high school, that are strung out on crystal meth and fentanyl.
Oh yeah, here too.
And I'm telling you right now.
I don't know why it's doubling your chat either. Bad intro.
One thing
but,
my parents did break on us girls.
But I just want to ask you this, bad intro, since you were saying don't use the NIV. What version of the Bible would you say to use?
So here's the tricky thing. So for the Old Testament, the only way you're going to get actual accurate context is by knowing Hebrew or studying the early church fathers, which have interpreted them for us. For the New Testament, you can use King James Version and New King James Version. OSB is a little wonky. NASB is the literal translation, but it's hard to get the context out of. So going with the NKJV or KJV is probably your best bet for understanding what is actually trying to be said.
I read the King James Study Bible.
It's good.
I was just going to ask that real quick. I know why. I know we're going off.
We
totally went off subject from what we started out. That's what happens when you're
Sorry, that's my bad. I don't remember.
No.
Well, it all ties in together if you really think about it, because you know, if we as Christians actually reached out to these people in their times of confusion and mental anguish, you know, we can make a difference in their lives.
I'm gonna sub to your channel, bad intro.
Oh no, you don't. Please don't. Are you talking about my Twitch channel?
Oh, your YouTube channel.
Oh, I don't really do anything on YouTube, but you can if you want to, I guess.
Yeah, you can do funny stuff on YouTube.
That's the thing, though, is like it's one of those things. Just it's a big part of our faith is that we don't evangelize because we know that you need ears to hear, and if you're not willing and wanting to know about God, you're not gonna listen. Like you have to be desiring God to do so, and we see people that are coming out of things. We haven't had any trans people coming out yet for correction, but I do know if there's gay guys in church who have sworn a life of celibacy, and they'll never sleep with a man ever again because they've experienced the grace of God, and they're not willing to give that up for fleshly desires.
Well,
the
trees are known by their fruits, sir.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely.
It's not that you go out and start just beating people over the head with your King James Version Bible and trying to make them repent immediately.
Mm-hmm.
If you practice what you preach, you don't have to evangelize. They'll start asking questions.
Well, it's actually an interesting context thing is that, I'm going to start getting into denominational stuff. That's a big error in the Western Christianity. You're not supposed to. Who Jesus was speaking to about going to preach the gospel to all the world were the apostles. They were the first ordained bishops along a whole line of apostolic succession to do so. So I'll come on here and talk on like a podcast and stuff, but like I won't go out and talk, try to push God down anybody's throat because they're not willing to listen. And I'm not really in an authoritative position, an educationally authoritative position to do so. When I go through seminary and get my master's in theology and I'm ordained priest after probably like 6 or 7 years, you know, when somebody comes to the church, I will have that right to do so, to speak rightfully of God, because when you perverse God's word, you're sinning. So it doesn't matter if it comes from a good place in your heart. If you lie about God, you are sinning, and that's no good. So,
well, I try not to lie about God.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So
it's like I said earlier in the chat when this all started. We need to. We as a society have lost our way. We need to turn back to the Word and back to the Lord.
The problem is that who do you go to? Because Methodists have fallen. Baptists are now starting to fall. So the Methodists have completely lost to the LGBT community. There are trans pastors or priests, whatever they call them. The Anglicans are now starting to fall. They just had a whole thing with the Catholics where women are being ordained as a priest, and they're also allowing LGBT in. So Western Christianity is falling fast. And I think it sounds like a negative thing, but I think it's going to be a good thing, because Jesus Christ was not lying when he said, I will build my church where the gates of Hades will not prevail, meaning that church is still alive and still exists. You can find it. And those churches that are falling are not the correct word.
Right. Yep. I could see that. So,
sorry, that was my intense moment.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up since we've been on this for an hour, but everybody that wants to stay and talk, we can stay in the green room.
Sure.
All righty.
Talk afterwards. So
I was gonna say, do you ever promote your Discord?
not as much anymore. I was trying to promote it all the time, and then
You should. I mean, because I'm always like, when it comes to like my, that's my favorite subject. If anybody's ever willing and want to know about my beliefs in religion, or just want to talk religion in general, like I would love to discuss it. Like, what not to call you out, Moist, in like a negative way, but like that's a common thing I hear all the time. Is I don't believe in organized religion. I used to be the same way.
I know.
I only trust organized religion now.
No, I don't believe in organized religion either, sir.
But what you're saying then is you're saying you'd rather people pick and choose what they believe, and you would rather believe that than something.
No, I believe what's in the Bible, and that's it.
That's one part of the tradition of church is that.
I speak where God tells me to speak, and I shut up where He tells me to shut up.
all right. Well, I'm going to play a Tom McDonald song to close us out of here.
Yeah.